Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. We are here today to discuss protein. So lots and lots of questions about protein. This is always like a major pain point for our newer clients who are new to tracking macros too, is they never know like why they're eating as much protein they are, like how to get more into their diet, like little hacks and stuff like that. It's really always a pain point for them. So first of all, why do you even want to have protein in your diet? Essentially, your body metabolizes protein differently than it does carbs or fats. It takes more energy to metabolize protein than it does either of the other macronutrients. It actually takes about 5 times more energy to digest and use protein than it does carbs and fats. So that kind of puts it in perspective that a higher protein diet would help you maintain a leaner physique that you're looking for. How much protein should you have in your diet? That's another common question. So essentially, it depends on the person. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, but it depends on the person, but somewhere between 0.8 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is like a good place to start. Now, I say it depends on the person because if you have somebody who is 215 pounds and they're working on getting to a healthy weight for themselves, and they're coming from a background where they were only eating like 30 grams of protein a day, if you immediately put them on 215 grams of protein, that's really not going to be like a maintainable thing for them to do. And if you can't consistently hit your macros, you're not going to get anywhere in the first place. Like I said, it kind of depends on your body type, what you've been doing, and what your goals are to how much protein you're going to have, but somewhere around that 0.8 to maybe even 0.7 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. I want to just like kind of take you through an example of somebody who is 140 pounds. Let's say she gets on macros that she's going to be hitting 140 grams of protein per day. Now she comes to me and she says, Lauren, I can easily get my carbs and fats in, but I'm always hitting my fat goal before I'm hitting my protein goal. So what you would want to do in that case is really work out your day, keeping your protein in mind first. So this is going to be tedious at first, but I want you to literally sit down the night before and plan out your full day of eating for the next day. Take into account if you're going to be going out to dinner, take into account if you're going to be packing your lunch for work, or whatever the case may be. Just make sure you know what you're going to be eating. Now, is that something that you probably want to keep up forever? No. You have to learn these little tips and tricks. You have to learn where you're going to get your protein from first, kind of like a training wheel situation, and then eventually you'll have a bigger base of knowledge and you'll be able to make those decisions more on the fly, which is kind of what If It Fits Your Macros is all about. This kind of setup of sitting down and planning out your meals would be you learning the basics first, and then you can go from there. So let's go back to this 140 grams of protein person. That can be a really overwhelming amount of protein for you to think about getting. So let's kind of walk through that. The first thing that I suggest doing, and this is absolutely not something that you have to feel obligated to do, but it will make your life easier, is to do a protein shake. 1 protein shake per day. You're not drinking shakes all day long. That's not how you're getting the majority of your food, but you're supplementing with 1 protein shake per day. So the average protein shake is gonna have about 20 grams of protein. So now we have this, dare I do a YouTube thing right here? Numbers, I put them there. So you have now 120 grams of protein to deal with for the rest of your day. Now let's think about your breakfast. Where are you gonna get your protein from in your breakfast? Maybe you're gonna have egg whites. So we do 20 grams of protein through egg whites. Now we're at 100 grams for the whole entire day. So like if you start thinking about it like that, where you're literally just knocking it off as you go, it becomes a lot easier. And not only that, but you're gonna stop having these kind of filler meals that you might have in your old lifestyle, where you're just sitting down and having chips or pretzels or something that doesn't really have a whole lot of nutritional value, because you are trying to hit those protein goals throughout the day. So that's why I love macro counting, is because so many of your problems just kind of sort themselves out through tracking macros. People will be so upset about like sugar, like how much sugar can I have? I'll be like, well, here's your macros. You're not gonna be able to get a lot of sugar in, because sugar is carbs. So like you'll hit your goals before you're gonna hit an insane amount of sugar, if that makes sense. So So let's talk about protein sources. Where can we get our protein from? Of course, this depends on your dietary restrictions or preferences, whatnot. Personally, I am just one of those people that unless you have a steadfast reason why you cannot include something, you should try to include everything. I think we are in such an alarmist society right now that people think like dairy's bad for you, meat's bad for you, everything is bad for you. I don't know. What do you guys think? Comment down below, tell me what you guys think about that. But for me, I don't cut anything out because this is a lifestyle for me. And if I can't see myself keeping something up, then I'm not going to start it in the first place. So do I really think that I want to go the rest of my life without a cheeseburger? Probably not. Probably not. So I don't like restrict myself and say I don't eat any red meat. Now, everything in moderation, of course, and again, your macros are going to sort this out on your own. I can't work a burger into my macros every single day. So like I have to find other protein sources, and then that burger becomes a special treat, something that's not completely off limits, but something that I don't have every day. So that's kind of like the lifestyle that I'm looking for. Now, let's just kind of assume that you're a person who is in the same boat as me, that you're not looking to restrict anything. If you have an allergy or something like that, of course you have to find ways around this. But just some major protein sources right off the top of my head that I use pretty much every day. Of course, we have that protein powder that's gonna knock off 20 grams right off the bat. I do egg whites, I do ground turkey, I do chicken, I do a flat iron steak once a week. I like a lot of shrimp, just things like that that are like lower fat and higher protein. I'm one of those people that I love fat. Like I'm a cheese, oil, like I just like that stuff. So it's really easy for me to get my fat in during the day. So I try to select leaner cuts of meat so that I'm not wasting fat on, you know, something that I could easily swap out. And so I guess what I mean by that is like if you have a ground turkey that's like 80 lean, 20 fat, I can swap in a 93.7 and still have my ground turkey, still have a similar like meal experience. I can still have a turkey burger or whatever the heck I want to have, but I can easily save a little bit of fat macros and calories by just picking a leaner cut of turkey. So one thing I love about tracking macros is that it makes you a more educated consumer. For example, peanut butter. Peanut butter is always marketed as a protein food, but once you understand tracking macros and you can look at the nutrition label, you can realize that peanut butter is really a fat source with very limited protein in it. Even if you don't plan to track your macros forever, just having that kind of understanding so that you can make more educated decisions is so, so valuable. So we talked about why we need it, how much, how you're going to plan out your day so that you hit those goals. Let's talk a little bit about snacks. Like I said earlier, like they're in your old life, right? In your past life, you used to sit on the couch and eat pretzels or Doritos or whatever you ate. And that might have been satisfying from like an oral perspective. I don't know if I want to say it like that. It tasted good, right? But it didn't like fill you up or give your body any nutrients that it needed. So 15 minutes later, you're hungry again. So you have to turn over a new leaf with snacks and start picking snacks that are going to leave you satiated, leave you feeling good, and let you hit your macros too. So some of my favorite protein snacks, I wish I had props right now, but I'll just chit chat. Maybe I can learn how to put a picture here. Did I do it? Some of my favorite protein snacks are Greek yogurts or any kind of yogurt. I have Kroger near me, so I feel like I'm pretty much a constant advertisement for Carb Master yogurt just because they are a snack that is lower carb, very little fat, and higher protein, and they're like, they hit your sweet tooth and they make you feel so good. You can do something like an egg sandwich. That's kind of like always a go-to for me for a pre-workout. So I'll just have like a little egg pan that's like, it's a frying pan, but it's small. And I'll just do some like egg whites or whole egg, whatever would be appropriate for my macros. And then I'll put that on like an English muffin with maybe a piece of cheese, depending on, you know, that again. And that's such a satisfying snack to me, and it gets a little bit of protein in. It's gonna keep you full, and it's so good. Other snacks I've been going to lately, I got some roasted edamame from the store. So edamame is really, really high in protein, like the crazy high, and you'll start to find those little hacks here and there as you learn more. So these are like roasted and salted, and they're just like a good crunchy snack that has a little bit of fat, a little bit of carbs, and a decent chunk of protein. Another little hack I've been using lately is lentil pasta. So basically, you can find this at any grocery store now because everyone's trying to make kind of a marketing move towards plant-based protein. So just keep your eyes out for that stuff because they can say whatever they want about it. That's a whole different tangent. But red lentil pasta is like a good swap in if you're already going to be eating pasta. It does not have fewer carbs. It has just as many carbs. It's gonna have limited fat, just like regular pasta, but it has a good chunk of protein in it. So I'll do something like that with some maybe lean ground turkey on top if I need more protein, plus some tomato sauce. And it's like a really good meal, and it's gonna have like 30 to 40 grams of protein in it, like a lot of protein. Other high protein snacks, and I always forget about this one because I don't like it, but my boyfriend loves it, would be like jerky, and you can get turkey jerky too, which has lower fat than regular beef jerky. Other things would be cottage cheese. You can also do protein bars. When I'm shopping for protein bars, I just look for something that has under 10 grams of fat, under 25 grams of carbs, and about 20 grams of protein. That would be a pretty solid protein bar. To be totally honest, when you go a lot lower than that in fat, it usually sucks. Usually sucks. And then the last thing would, to be kind of going along with edamame, you can do something like pumpkin seeds or some kind of high protein granola in your yogurt if that's your jam. Another thing that I've been doing post-workout, which is freaking delicious, is doing a cereal with a protein shake mixed up and put over top, and it's delicious. Final thought here is kind of about protein products in general. If you are somebody who has a sensitive stomach, I would highly suggest you limit your protein products, and by protein products I mean things like bars, shakes, chips, you know, drinks, like anything that you can find at GNC that you're like, oh my god, this has protein chips, it's crazy. Just don't go ham on that stuff, especially if you have a sensitive stomach. You're gonna notice that you're gonna find yourself more bloated, digestion is gonna be slower, and you're just not gonna feel like you're operating at your most optimal level. And that can have a lot to do with where you're getting your protein from. So just be careful with that. Personally, I try to limit it to 1, maybe 2 protein products per day at the absolute most. And then the rest of my food I'm getting from just like whole food sources. So like, you know, whole food sources, you know. All right, you guys, I hope that you found this helpful. If you have any more comments or questions about protein, please feel free to comment them down below. I would love to answer your questions and help you out however I can.